You have been carrying things that were never yours to hold, silent grudges, regrets, and stories that loop endlessly in your mind. And no matter how much rest you get, your soul still wakes up tired. This is not just something to fall asleep to. It is a mirror, and maybe, for the first time in a long time, it will show you why peace feels so far away. Buddhism does not offer quick fixes. It offers truth, the kind that sets you free, not by changing your life, but by helping you let go of what is not yours to carry. Pain is not what destroys us, clinging does. We take a moment of hurt and turn it into identity. We feed the fire with stories, with blame, with a craving to be right or seen. But the fire only wants more fuel. The moment we say, "I am this pain," we forget the truth that we are not our thoughts, not our stories, not our wounds. We are the awareness behind them. Letting go is not weakness. It is strength. It is not forgetting what happened. It is choosing not to suffer from it every day. You do not need to fix everything. You just need to stop feeding the fire. And in that stillness, peace returns. Not because everything is perfect, but because you are no longer burning. Letting go cannot become another identity. I am the one who has let go. That is just the ego, in a new costume. This is why Buddhism points us to emptiness not as sadness, but as freedom, a space where thoughts and pain pass through like wind, because there is nothing for them to stick to. There is a practice called noting. When thoughts arise, anger, grief, shame, you simply note them. Do not chase, judge, or build stories around them. Just see them, name them, and let them pass like clouds across the sky. You are the sky, not the storm. And when the mind says, "But I was wronged," remind yourself, that was then. This is now. Each time you return to the present, the fire of suffering weakens, until one day, it is only ash. And even the ash blows away. Letting go is not weakness. It is strength. Not because you do not care, but because carrying pain no longer serves you. But even after the fire fades, the smoke can linger in the form of words. Words said in anger. Words whispered behind backs. Words repeated in your own mind. Speech leaves residue. It lingers in the body and spirit. Buddhism teaches that speech is not neutral. It either helps or harms. Every careless word, every sarcastic remark, every judgment becomes a karmic imprint, not just on others, but on you. The harsh voice in your head is often not yours. It is inherited. But when you believe it, it becomes your truth. Remember, thoughts are not facts. They are just weather. Let them pass. Silence, when practiced mindfully, is healing. Not the silence of avoidance, but of awareness. The silence that pauses before it speaks, that listens deeply. Right speech is not just kindness, it is clarity. Ask, is it true? Is it necessary? Is it helpful? If not, let it remain unspoken. Even when you cannot undo words from the past, you can stop echoing them. You can stop replaying what hurt you. You can breathe. You can release. And in that release, you begin to return to peace, to clarity, to yourself. Forgiveness is not about excusing harm, it is about releasing yourself from it. You stop wearing pain like armor. You stop defining yourself by what someone said when they were unaware. As a Tibetan saying goes, speak only if it improves upon the silence. Right speech is not just kindness, it is clarity, restraint, and wisdom. And when you choose words that heal instead of harm, your inner world begins to shift. Your peace becomes protected. Your voice becomes a tool for connection, not destruction. Not everyone deserves access to your inner space. Boundaries are not unkind, they are sacred. When you no longer speak from pain, you stop spreading it. And when you speak gently, both to others and yourself, the residue of old harm begins to fade. But beyond speech lies memory, the second arrow. The first arrow is life as pain. The second is the story you keep telling about it. Memory feels real. It brings back emotion. tension, even physical pain. But it is not the present, it is just a thought. You can observe it. Name it. Let it pass. The body remembers to tightness, fatigue, emotion, but with awareness. Even the body softens. The practice is not to erase the past, but to stop letting it shape who you are now. A memory without clinging becomes wisdom. A memory with clinging becomes a cycle. Let go of the old arguments in your head. Let go of being right. Let go of what you cannot change. You are not your story. You are the awareness behind it. The shift from identifying with pain to simply observing it is transformative. It turns suffering into clarity and poison into information. When memories pull you back into the past, bring your attention to the present moment by grounding yourself in your senses. Notice what you hear, what you feel, the texture of your clothing, or the sounds in the room. Your body always exists in the now, and returning to it anchors you. Not every pain or wound gets closure or justice. Yet peace does not depend on resolution. It depends on release. You do not need to finish the story or keep reliving it. The past can be a teacher, but not a prison. You may visit it, learn from it, and then walk away. When the past becomes part of your identity, when you say, "I am the one who failed," or "I am the one who was left behind," remember these are just stories, not your true self. With gentle awareness, you can let these stories go. Whenever you hear yourself say, "This always happens to me," stop and recognize that it is memory speaking, not truth or reality. Listen to it, thank it, and let it pass. Freedom lies not in erasing the past, but in seeing that it no longer controls the present unless you allow it to. You can close the book on old wounds by choosing to let go. Mindfulness returns your power by ending the mental replay of painful memories. Peace is not the absence of memory, but the absence of attachment to it. It is the stillness that acknowledges, "Yes, that happened, but this moment is new. I do not need to suffer for what is already done." Take a deep breath and let it mark the boundary between what was and what is, between story and truth, suffering and freedom. When memories return, greet them like old guests. Listen, smile, and send them on their way. Once the past loosens its grip, what remains is not emptiness, but a rare stillness. A clearing most people never reach because they never stop reacting. The real transformation happens in that stillness, not by doing more, but by doing less. Stillness is not weakness or apathy. It is the most powerful response when everything inside you screams for action. In a world addicted to instant reactions and emotional impulses, stillness is a form of rebellion. It chooses clarity over chaos, refusing to be pulled into the storm. Repeated practice of stillness becomes healing medicine, not just for the mind, but for the nervous system, breath, and emotions. The body cannot always tell the difference between real danger and emotional noise unless stillness intervenes. Without it, the nervous system reacts to every slight irritation, every misunderstood word, every memory and imagined threat. Learning to pause, breathe, and remain quiet recalibrates the system. Cortisol levels drop, heart rate slows, muscles relax, and the body whispers, "Thank you." This is why Buddhist teachings emphasize silence and meditation, not to escape life, but to stop amplifying its chaos. Every reaction you avoid signals to your body that safety is possible. Every pause votes for peace. Over time, what once triggered you loses its hold, not because the world changed, but because your inner threshold shifted. Stillness is intelligent. It is the moment you notice the urge to argue and instead say nothing, not out of weakness, but to protect the clarity of the space around you. That breath you take when pride wants to prove a point, but wisdom says, "Let it pass," is a gateway. Each time you cross it, you step into a new way of being, one where your energy is reserved for what truly matters. Non-reaction does not mean you feel nothing. It means you do not let your feelings define you in the moment. Anger may arise, but you do not lash out. Fear may surface, but you do not freeze. Sadness may come, but you do not drown. You simply witness the emotions as they are without adding noise. Stillness purifies your inner world, allowing the truth beneath the surface to emerge. Thoughts driven by ego, fear, or old wounds get caught and filtered out. What passes through is clean, intentional, and real, like fresh spring water flowing through stone. The mind resists this, telling you silence means weakness or losing control. But non-reaction is strength. It is restraint without suppression, silence without resentment, and choosing freedom over the need to be right. When you stay still, others may call you cold or detached. Yet your calmness is not for their approval. It is your sanctuary, a sacred place where you meet yourself before the world tells you who to be. Truth is found when we separate impulse from reaction. Peace does not need to be understood to be powerful. Many harms come from reacting to quickly words said in anger or decisions made in fear. A pause is not delay. It is an opportunity to change everything. Stillness sharpens perception and intuition. When you stop reacting, you see and hear clearly, moving through life with awareness rather than defensiveness. The modern world keeps us on edge, but stillness tells the body it is safe to relax, allowing clearer, wiser choices. Non-reaction protects you from manipulation. If you do not respond to provocation, it loses power. Stillness is a practice, built with repeated quiet choices. Even when it feels hard, returning to stillness after reacting is always possible. And every pause is progress. Stillness helps you listen not just to others, but to yourself, unlocking inner wisdom that cannot be heard over noise. Before speaking or reacting, pause and breathe. Often, silence is the best response. Beneath stillness is the tension of needing to be right. This need is driven by fear of being wrong, losing control, or feeling small. Buddhism teaches humility as freedom from this need. Letting go of being right does not mean losing your truth. It means releasing the fight around it. The ego loves to win, but peace matters more than being correct. Holding on to being right often comes from old wounds and only creates more noise. True power lies in listening, in embracing difference, and in valuing peace over winning. Humility allows flexibility and openness, making space for clarity. The do not know mind is wisdom in accepting the vastness of life beyond certainty. Truth is profound, and human beings are complex. It is not necessary to always be certain. When you live from that space, something powerful happens. You no longer need to defend yourself constantly. You no longer require every conversation to end with your version of the truth. You can allow others to be where they are. You can allow thoughts to pass through without turning them into debates. This also releases physical tension. The body tightens when trying to be right. The jaw clenches. The breath shortens. The shoulders lift. It is the posture of defense. But when the need to be right dissolves, the body softens. The nervous system calms. Energy returns to the present moment. That is where true confidence lies, not in knowing everything, but in needing nothing to prove who you are. Even your inner conversations begin to change. Those mental arguments where you imagine what you should have said, or try to prove someone wrong, those bring exhaustion, not peace. But if you let go of the need to be right, those conversations stop. The mind becomes quiet. The breath deepens. And you realize, you do not need to win in order to feel whole. You already are whole. This shift transforms relationships too. How many connections have been strained or broken by the silent war of correctness? Two people, neither one wrong, but both hurt, both clinging to the belief that agreement equals love. But love does not grow from being right, it grows from being real. And being real means admitting when you do not know. It means acknowledging when you were wrong. It means saying, I see it differently, without trying to convince the other person. That kind of honesty creates intimacy. It breaks the cycle of defensiveness. In that space, people feel safe not because they are agreed with, but because they are truly seen. In Buddhist practice, right view is not about having perfect opinions. It is about seeing clearly. And clear seeing means releasing the filters of ego, pride, and fear. It means allowing truth to reveal itself, instead of forcing it. Truth often arises in silence, in the space where no one is trying to win. Letting go of being right is not giving up, it is clarity. It is the understanding that peace is more important than control. And peace does not require anyone else to change. It only asks that you release the need for a scoreboard. You will still speak. You will still have opinions. But you will not attach your self-worth to them. You will speak with softness, with openness, with curiosity. You will ask more questions than you make statements. You will listen not to respond, but to understand. And in doing so, you will see that the truth you were defending was never in danger. It did not need armor. It simply needed space. Eventually, the question will shift. What about those who were actually wrong? What about the pain they caused? The things they never made right? What about the apologies that never came? The justice that never arrived? This is where the heart hardens, often without realizing it. This is where resentment dresses itself up as fairness. And this is where you confront one of the most difficult illusions to release. The belief that someone still owes you something. It begins with a story. They hurt you. They lied. They left. They broke their promises. And your heart kept score. That is natural. The mind builds balance sheets. Who gave what? Who took more? Who owes whom? So you wait for closure, for karma, for the phone call, the apology, the breakdown that proves they finally understand. You wait and you carry. You carry their debt like a stone in your chest. But what if they never lift it? Here is the difficult truth. Every day you wait, you are the one paying interest on their debt. Buddhism offers a radical approach, not one of passivity or denial, but of freedom. It is called emotional debt forgiveness. It means you stop demanding repayment not because they deserve it, but because you do. Because your peace is worth more than their guilt. Because carrying resentment, even if it is justified, poisons the one who holds it. To forgive emotional debt does not mean excusing the behavior. It means letting go of the hook, the belief that they must feel remorse, that they must make it right, that they must say, I was wrong, because every day you do not hear those words. The wound reopens, not because of what they did, but because of the belief that they still owe you. This is not about letting injustice win. It is about accepting that karmic justice does not follow your timeline. Sometimes the ones who hurt you move on as if untouched. Not because they are free, but because life has its own way of returning lessons. You do not need to be the one to deliver their awakening. More importantly, you do not need to keep suffering until they awaken. Releasing emotional debt means letting go of the story that says, I cannot heal until they make it right. That story might feel true, but it is a trap. It places your peace in someone else's hands, and the longer you wait, the more of your own life you miss. Forgiveness is not a reward for them, it is a decision for yourself. A decision to stop being the jailer of your own heart. This is especially difficult when the pain is deep, when it changed your life, cost you trust, time, love, even your sense of self. But the spiritual truth remains. No one can make the past right. It already happened. What they should have done is irrelevant. What they have not done cannot be undone. The only question left is, will you continue handing them your peace? Emotional debt appears in small thoughts. They never appreciated me. They never said thank you after all I did. These are contracts that were never signed. Expectations that never became reality. Yet the energy remains like unpaid invoices stuck in your nervous system. And every time those thoughts arise, they do not add weight to the other person, they add it to you. So what does it mean to forgive emotional debt? It means understanding that peace does not depend on them making it right. It depends on you deciding that they no longer get to live in your heart rent-free. It means taking back your energy. It means clearing the emotional debt not because they paid it, but because you no longer want to carry it. So, like if you agree that silence can be the most powerful response. Share this to inspire calm and clarity in a chaotic world. Comment below. What helps you find stillness in stressful moments? And subscribe and awaken your mind with Wisdom Kingdom.